Well, thanks for joining us. I'm here chatting with Charmaine Patel. She is this year's citation recipient for the class of 2011. Charmaine, congratulations, and thanks for taking a moment to have a chat with me.
Thanks, Rachel. I feel honoured to be here.
Now, thinking back to your time at Avondale, and people often talk about the Avondale experience, but what is it that you got from your Avondale experience?
Yeah, I'm so blessed to have lifelong friends all over the world because of Avondale. The spiritual aspect was great with all the activities that was happening on campus.
Can you tell us where you're living at the moment and what you're getting up to?
I'm living in Brisbane and currently working in the South Queensland Conference for the Visual Communication Department, doing videography, photography, organising creative events and visual workshops.
Sounds like that's a job that would keep you pretty busy, but you didn't start there. When you left Avondale, you actually started up your own business, which is a pretty bold move. What was the motivation behind actually starting that up for yourself?
Yeah, upon leaving Avondale, I desired to work within the church organisation. However, there was just nothing in the creative space. So I had to kickstart my career working for a photography studio in the big world. But I realised that I had to work on the Sabbath. I had no choice but to start my own business, which worked well for a time because I got to travel around the world doing what I love in wedding photography and videography, which meant I didn't have to work on Sabbath. I felt God leading in this chapter of my life. That was great, but I realised I needed a greater purpose, and that is why I studied a double degree in Fine Arts and Communications at Avondale University College in the first place. Upon lots of prayer, doors seemed to open up in the Ventus Creative Visual space, which is where I am today, and I love it so much. I feel this is where I'm meant to be.
It's so awesome that you have been able to land somewhere that you really enjoy. And now you're a decade on from graduating at Avondale and you're finding yourself mentoring others in some of the work you're doing. So how are you actually mentoring them, and in what areas specifically are you doing that?
I've had various teams at different times that I have mentored in areas such as AUC Camporee, AUC Converge, South Queensland summer camps, and presented creative workshops in schools, churches and conference in Perth. I also brought together a team of creative people to produce the first ever creative conference here in South Queensland.
Yeah, you really sound like you're getting your hands all over that creative space, which is just beautiful to hear. And you're working for South Queensland Conference, Visual Communications full time. You just talked about that first creative conference that you put on. What are you hoping people will get out of that? Where are you hoping things will go for that space?
The presenters who spoke at the creative conference inspired those attending, who in turn took their inspiration back to their local churches.
Yeah, and I guess that's the dream, isn't it? That you plant that seed and it continues to grow. And what I'm seeing in the way that you're talking is that you have combined something that you absolutely love with a career. You're pretty early on in your professional life. Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
I have a dream to produce creative music videos for Ventus creative singers and showcase the talent to the whole world so everyone can be blessed. I also have a passion to video testimonies of people where God has blessed them and drawn them closer to Jesus.
Oh, I love that. Well, I will be watching that space and what you do there, because I think that sounds beautiful. So what is it that you want others to know about visual communications and that whole creative lens to life that they might not necessarily know now or value about it?
Great question. I feel that the creative lens gift that God has given me has enabled me to find ways to communicate God's wonderful message of love, peace, joy and grace in a creative way to reach the masses via any platform. God, being the master creator, inspires me to use my gifts to influence other creative people and their gifts.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that you've got such a passion in that space. And you are absolutely living a life that shares Christ in such a vibrant and a really colourful and creative way. You're transforming lives, you're influencing others, and this is why the class of 2011 is honouring you for that this homecoming weekend. So congratulations.